everybody, EchoV here, and as you all know, I love the monster catching and racing genre. From the ever-growing popularity of Pokemon, to the stark storytelling of Digimon, to even unique ones like Yokai Watch. Basically, if there was a game that lets me race a quote-unquote terrifying monster, count me in! I'll eat it right up. But in my opinion, the best and most unique one out of all of them is, ironically, probably the most obscure one of them all, the Monster Rancher series. So for this video, I'll be looking into Monster Rancher 2, which in my opinion is the most unique game out of all of them. Here we go! And so the game begins. After we register our name, we got an entrance exam. Luckily, it ain't a cat test. It's just a simple yes or no test, but the questions, I mean, don't get me wrong, they do relate to the game to some degree, but a lot of them just go along the lines of, if I have to choose, I like spring more than winter. I think work is more important than romance. Dreams can be realized as long as I can do my best to achieve it. You guys do realize that I'm registering for my Monster Trainer's license, right? And not a dating site? Anyway, after completing the exam, we get assigned to our partner Colt. Just like us, Colt is a beginner trainer. Additionally, Colt is our voice in the game itself. Basically, she's telling us everything that's happening within the game as it happens, while also acting as a status check for our monster's overall health. Speaking of which, time to get a monster! Now, there are two ways to get a monster in this game. The first is by the marketplace, with a set of 3, one of which rotates out depending on the season, so remember to check back when you can. And while the marketplace is fine and all that, the best one, and what really makes the Monster Rancher series stand out, is the Shrine. Using your actual collection of CDs, this game can somehow summon a monster from them. As a kid, I thought this was utterly brilliant. Hell, I'm in my late 20s already and I still think that this is the best game mechanic ever made. Are you seriously telling me that this random bunch of games and CDs that I own has a monster living inside of it? That's amazing! Of course, depending on your rank, it doesn't always work, so you'll have to try again, which is a double-edged sword. Eventually, I finally found myself a monster, and it is this one. You got that right, that's for sure. This is the monster I've chosen. I've decided to name him Riptide. Don't ask me why, it works, trust me. And he'll be our starring monster for the rest of the video. And now we're at the ranch, and this is where the bulk of the game is gonna take place from now on. You'll spend most of your time training your monster to be the absolute best, all of which are done via drills. Each of the 8 top drills raises a single stat, while the bottom 4 raises 2 stats but at the cost of lowering 1. Be supportive, EchoV. Be supportive. During these drills, you don't influence anything. How a monster performs during them is all dependent on the monster's overall personality. In addition, each drill raises your monster's fatigue, and when that gets too high, you're gonna need to let it rest whether you like it or not. Unless you're a jerk, that is. One of the things that I love about this game is that when you talk to someone or, just leave the game running, your monster will just wander about doing whatever it wants. It's simple things like this that makes the monsters just feel more alive and natural and not just over-glorified fighting machines, if you get what I'm trying to say here. I mean, just look at Riptide. He may be a scary looking purple raptor dragon reptile, but he's very much a purple raptor dragon reptile puppy. Look at him go! Isn't he adorable? Of course, besides the usual training, you can also opt for an Errantry. While costly, Errantry raises certain stats significantly while also allowing your monster to learn new moves. Errantry requires a lot of forward planning because certain techniques are locked to certain areas. So if there's a technique that you really want to get, make sure to not only pick the right area, but be prepared to reset a whole bunch. Because not only will you not get the technique that you want, but you also run the risk of injuring your monster for several weeks, so be careful. This does of course come with its own sets of risks, as not only can this potentially injure your monster if things go wrong, but it can also affect their lifespan. Oh yeah! There's a lifespan in this game! Basically, anything you do affects your monster's lifespan. The harsher you treat your monster, the earlier that it's gonna die! Words cannot describe just how horrifying and emotional this is. Imagine working so hard to train your monster to be the very best like no one ever was, only for it to die. It's heartbreaking, especially if you play this back as a young kid. I mean, I remember when my first monster died. It stuck with me for a good long while. Any media typically aimed towards a younger audience really dance around the idea of death in general, especially in the monster racing genre, where they either introduce reincarnation or just flat out ignore it entirely. Monster Rancher 2, in my opinion, is one of the first in the genre to introduce this concept, and they do it in such a way that feels real and impactful. Your monster's dead, and it's never coming back. The only way to avoid this process is to freeze your monster for later use, which we'll get back to in a while. And of course, just like every other game in its genre, Monster Rancher 2 is all about racing your monster to battle other trained monsters. Battles can play out by either letting your monster do everything by their own power, or by controlling them yourself. You have 60 seconds on the clock to deal as much damage as possible to your opponent. The winner of all matches is decided on who has more HP left. Each opponent is different and has different stats, so the key is to strategize, which makes the battle system of the franchise as a whole much more unique than any other game out there. And this is why carefully training and managing your monster is important. The last thing you want in battle is for your monster to mess up and cost you the victory. But thankfully for me, Riptide managed to clean sweep the entire tournament, crowning him the grand champion of the official Grade E tournament, earning him the prize money, and best of all, it earned him for fame. I mean, I get he's a rookie and all that, but 4? Really? Well, on the bright side, at least Riptide gained some decent stat boost as well. As you continue training and racing your monster, you can unlock other moments such as requests to play with them. Again, it's the little things like this that add so much personality to your monsters. Side note, Riptide may be awesome at battles, but he still needs to work on his playstyle. I'm just saying. And of course, just like any other game, you can access several more monsters. You probably noticed a few of them in my file, and that's because achieving certain prerequisites allow you to unlock certain monsters. For example, upgrading your barn gives you access to Golem and Baku, and if you have happened to raise the Hopper monster to a high enough rank, it can dig you a hot spring, giving you access to Niton and Undine. Speaking of unlocking monsters, there's actually a third option for obtaining monsters: combining. If you have 2 or more frozen monsters, you can actually combine them to form a new monster. What the resulting monster will be depends on the species of your monster, allowing you to either get a new combination or the same as one of the parent monsters. Additionally, you can even add a secret ingredient to the mix, allowing the baby to be born with even better stats. Heck, combining is actually the only way to unlock certain monsters such as the aforementioned Undine and even the Phoenix itself. So long as you have the corresponding items, that is. And when you're really good and raise your monster to a certain stat, you can go on expeditions. While your monster doesn't earn stats or new techniques, instead, you can explore an uncharted area of the Errantry locations and have a go at exploring various ancient buildings and maybe find some interesting items. Expeditions are special because there are certain landmarks where you can get special items that can either boost your monster stats or even special items that enable you to unlock more monsters. But boy, can this game get very grindy at times! I swear, so many times I found myself spending way too much time trying to raise either a certain stat or getting what I needed. I know I shouldn't expect games to hand me everything that I want in one try, but man, this game's RNG can be very obnoxious at times. I found myself restarting way more than I am willing to admit just so I can finally get what I want and move on with my life. And yet again, this highlights one of the many things that I find unique about the Monster Rancher series as a whole. The way you can unlock things. In my opinion, this game really pushes you to be the best at raising your monster, not just so you can learn from your mistakes and see what you can do to improve, but also because it rewards you for your hard work. Monster Rancher 2 was actually the first game that taught me this, and it's actually one of the things that I look forward to with each new game that I play. What's the payoff if I do the best I can? Why should I bother trying when everything's already there in the beginning and I just need to grind it out? The answer is this: an experience unlike any other. And that's it for this video. Did you play and or remember this game? Leave your own experiences in the comments below to let me know. Links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. If it's your birthday today, then happy birthday. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone, be good to each other.